Could you speak into the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry, Senator. Yeah, I said the backdrop rule is that a warrant is required anytime the government wants to search a person, place, or a thing.
And to arrest you, right?
There are some exceptions to that, but generally, yes.
Okay. And there are exceptions to the warrant requirement for searching and arresting people, are they not? Are there not?
Yes, Senator, there are.
Okay. Suppose the Florida Supreme Court ruled that here in Florida, we're not going to recognize any exceptions to the warrant requirement. You have to have a warrant to search someone, and you have to have a warrant to arrest someone. Mm-hmm. No exceptions. Can the Florida Supreme Court do that?
Well,
Welcome back, Patriots, to Right View Nation, where we say what the mainstream media won't, and we stand for the Constitution, not against it. Today, I watched something that should make every single liberty-loving American sit up straight and ask a simple question. Do our judges even understand the Constitution they swear to uphold? Because what we just witnessed was a masterclass in constitutional confusion, and it came straight from the mouths of judicial nominees who, quite frankly, should know better. Let me walk you through what happened. Senator John Kennedy, one of the last remaining straight shooters in Washington, grilled two judicial nominees. Now, this wasn't some complicated law school exam. No, these were basic, foundational questions that any high school civics student should know. Questions about when warrants are required, what the Supremacy Clause means, and how states can protect rights more than the federal government. And what did these nominees do? They stumbled. They fumbled. They gave half answers and flip-flopped mid-sentence.
Kennedy to kick us off.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Judge Dudick, did I say that name right?
That's correct, Senator.
All right. What's the warrant requirement?
Well, before the court would issue a warrant, you have to assess to make sure that there's probable cause to either search the place.
When's a warrant required?
Excuse me?
When is a warrant required?
The general rule is a warrant is required anytime that the government wants to search a person, place, or thing.
Could you speak into the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry, Senator. Yeah, I said the backdrop rule is that a warrant is required anytime the government wants to search a person, place, or a thing.
And to arrest you, right?
There are some exceptions to that, but generally, yes.
Okay. And there are exceptions to the warrant requirement for searching and arresting people, are they not? Are there not?
Yes, Senator, there are.
Okay. Suppose the Florida Supreme Court ruled that here in Florida, we're not going to recognize any exceptions to the warrant requirement. You have to have a warrant to search someone, and you have to have a warrant to arrest someone. Mm-hmm. No exceptions. Can the Florida Supreme Court do that?
Well, Senator, under the Supremacy Clause, they'd be bound by what the Fourth Amendment dictates. Of course, they're free to make their own requirements as it.
What if the Florida Supreme Court did it under the Florida Constitution and not the federal Constitution?
Well, they would still, Senator, have to apply with what the federal Constitution said.
No, they wouldn't.
Under the Supremacy Clause.
Do you know what adequate and independent state grounds means?
Sure. Of course, I would understand that they could have independent and adequate state grounds for state law, but they.
No, they don't. As long as you don't take away rights, mm-hmm. but add to them, a state can do whatever it wants to under its state constitution, can it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
Senator.
That's not what you just said. You think the Supremacy Clause applies? The Supremacy Clause applies.
Well,
you want to change your answer?
Senator, I would like to change my answer to the extent that I agree with you that the Florida legislature or Florida could do exactly what you said. I meant in my statement is that.
Trust me, it can. Judge Pruitt, I'm sorry, I can't see that far.
It's Judge Pratt, Senator. Yes.
Judge Pratt, I apologize. I can't see that far. Can a state legislature pass a law that discriminates against a group of people over another group of people for inferior treatment?
Well, Senator, the federal Constitution and the state Constitution both contain protections against various forms
I know
of discrimination.
But can a state legislature say this group, we're going to treat this group of people differently than another group of people?
So I think, Senator, an example where a legislature
Tell
could
me first if a state can do that.
Yes, a state can, for example, require a driving age which discriminates on the basis of age. To say, for example,
When can a state?
Folks, they had the constitutional backbone of a soggy paper towel. Senator Kennedy asked a simple question. Can the state of Florida eliminate all exceptions to the warrant requirement and demand that police always get a warrant under the state constitution? You know what the answer is? Yes. Under the doctrine of adequate and independent state grounds, a state can expand individual rights beyond what the federal government requires. They just can't take rights away. But what did Judge Dudek say? First, he said no. Then Kennedy schooled him. Suddenly, the judge changed his answer and said yes, after realizing he had just exposed his constitutional ignorance on national television. And that's not a gotcha moment. That's a red flag. A big, blaring warning sign that the people we're putting in black robes don't fully understand, or worse, don't respect, the very framework that gives them power. Then comes Judge Pratt, who couldn't give a straight answer about whether states can treat certain groups differently under law. Kennedy asked about legal discrimination, and the judge danced around it like a politician at a press conference. Now don't get me wrong, there are instances where distinctions are legal. For example, driving age laws. But instead of stating that clearly, the judge hemmed and hawed, trying not to offend anyone. That's not what we need in a courtroom. We need clarity, not cowardice. Here's the bottom line, America. We're nominating judges who seem more concerned about saying the politically correct thing than upholding the actual law. And this isn't just legal theory. It affects your rights. Your Fourth Amendment rights. Your right to be secure in your person and property. Your right to be treated equally under state law. If these judges don't even know what powers states do and don't have, how can we trust them to protect our liberties? The founders gave us a republic with a layered system, a federal constitution and state constitutions working hand in hand. But when judges start treating the Constitution like it's optional or misunderstood, that's when tyranny creeps in through the back door. This is why we must fight back. Not with violence, but with knowledge, vigilance, and our voices. So here's what I want you to do. Stay informed. Read the Constitution yourself. And most importantly, vote for leaders who will nominate judges who actually know the damn law. Because if we don't stand up for the Constitution now, don't be surprised when it's ignored tomorrow. This is Right View Nation, and we won't back down. We won't be silenced. And we sure as hell won't apologize for demanding better from our courts. Subscribe. Share. Stand tall.